Hey there guys, it's James here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the #1 best place to find prospective clients for your Airbnb short-term rental management business. Now I'm going to actually go into the strategy, some of the tactics of actually where to find these people, because that's one of the most common questions that I get asked here on this channel and from students and from prospective students in BNB Mastery Program is, where do I actually find clients? You know, you can have all the strategies in the world for how to go and find them, but you need to know where to look so you can actually get a hold of those people and get your first couple properties on under management. Now, before we dive into everything, I really want to highly recommend that you check out the free training linked in the description down below. That free training goes over step by step everything that you're going to need and includes some free tools to help you on your journey to earning a full-time income managing other people's properties on Airbnb. We literally have hundreds of students now who have been through this training, who are implementing it successfully and a growing business of their own through our teachings, through our training, through BNB Mastery Program. So I highly recommend that you check it out down below in the description. It's a link there to a free training. It's absolutely free, no cost whatsoever, and we're gonna dive into everything step by step. And like I said, we're also gonna throw in some free tools that are gonna actually help you to get your first couple clients on under management. So definitely check that out. Now let's dive right into the meat of it. Where is the top place to find people? Well, there's a couple of good places, but in my experience, the best place by far is short-term rental platforms. That's right, actually going on to short-term rental platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, Booking.com, and finding people who already have their properties listed on those sites. And then we have strategies for how to actually reach out to those people that already have their properties listed on short-term rental platforms and put your offer in front of them so that they can come on board and have you manage the property for them. So that rather than managing it on Airbnb or VRBO or HomeAway and doing it all themselves, they can have you take over and actually manage the property for them. Now, like I mentioned, inside of the training link in the description down below and inside BNB Mastery Program, we go through the exact step-by-step strategies, because it's not as easy as just messaging the people through the platform, because that's going to violate the terms of service. You're not going to be able to actually message them directly without getting your account flagged and your account shut down. But there are some workarounds for it. There are some ways that you can actually find out who those hosts are and get in touch with them. But the more important thing is I want to kind of dissect exactly who you should be targeting on those platforms in order to get the best results possible. Because oftentimes I have people asking me, well, James, shouldn't I go to the last page of the search results? Shouldn't I find people who are in my niche, who are in my area, who are on the last page of the search results, or who are, really far down the list? Because obviously those people aren't performing very well. And so there's a whole bunch more value I can add to them because they're already performing poorly. It'll be easy for me to improve their performance, and there's a whole bunch of room for me to do so. Whereas if I reach out to people who are already super hosts, who are already doing really well, are on the first page of the search results, then good chances are that they've already got things dialed in enough that they don't really need me. And my answer to that is a resounding no. I had that thought myself, and I went out and tested that theory because I thought to myself the exact same thing. And the logic of it makes a lot of sense. Surely the people that are doing more poorly on Airbnb are the ones that are in need of the most help. Well, you'd actually be surprised to know that that's not usually the case. Yes, it's true. People that have their listings on the last page of search results do need help, and they often will hire you to manage the property so that they can improve their performance. That's not the part that you've got wrong. The part that is wrong about the assumption that we've made here is that the people who are doing exceptionally well don't need your help. That's where I realized that I couldn't be further from the truth on that one, because although they don't usually need a whole lot of help to improve the performance of their listing, I'll talk about in a second here why sometimes that's even not true, but a lot of the time they might be performing really well on Airbnb, but they still need a lot of help because they're doing everything themselves manually. And usually when people have superhost status and have these big accolades, it means they're putting a lot of time and energy into making sure that they're getting great reviews, that their guests are really satisfied, that everything is running smoothly, and that can be exceptionally time consuming and exceptionally stressful. Because you have to remember, these hosts are just hosts who have one property, one listing on Airbnb. They usually don't have any systems in place or any strategies to help them automate and outsource any of the day-to-day operations. They don't even have strategies and systems in place to help streamline their operations, help make things more efficient. So they're doing things that they don't need to be doing manually that are requiring a whole bunch of effort, like scheduling all their cleaners with a phone call. They're taking the time to actually call their cleaner every time there's a turnover, as opposed to having their cleaner just integrated with their calendar so the cleaner can schedule themselves. They're doing things like going out and buying sundries for their unit, the dish soap, the toilet paper, the paper towel, as opposed to having their cleaner do that. They're going out and they're messaging their guests manually, as opposed to using software to automate a whole bunch of those automated recurring messages like the check-in and the check-out messages. They're manually going and setting their pricing, as opposed to using pricing automation tools. There's all kinds of areas where they're just investing a whole bunch of time and energy in order to make their property perform as well as it is. And so as a result, these are often the property owners who can benefit the most, not the least, the most from having us manage their properties, because they want us to save them the time. Now, I mentioned as well that sometimes they're not even performing that well. And that's a kind of a shocking thing. When I realized that, I remember I was pretty surprised by that, because a lot of the time, even though a host might be performing well in the search results, it doesn't mean that they're actually performing well financially with the listing. Because as you and I both know, if you're experienced with this channel, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that maximizing your occupancy rate, meaning that the place is fully booked, does not necessarily mean that you're maximizing your revenue. Because if you list your place for $2 a night, you're going to get that thing fully booked, but you're only going to end up with $60 in your pocket. $2 a night times 30 nights out of a month doesn't get any bigger than that. It's $60 no matter how you slice it. So what you want to do is really maximize the balance between your occupancy rate, keeping that nice and high, but also your nightly rate, keeping that nice and high, so that you're optimizing your overall return on the property. And that's where a lot of people miss the mark. And so there are a lot of hosts who are super hosts who have their listing performing really well in the search results. It's showing up at the top of the first page, and still they're leaving a ton of money on the table because they just don't know how to price their listing properly in order to maximize that balance of both the occupancy rate and the nightly rate. And so more often than not, even when we come into contact with a host like that who's got their property that looks from the outside to be doing exceptionally well, not only can we add value by helping them to save time, but we can also add a whole bunch of value by helping to improve their performance, so that more often than not, they're actually going to be making the same amount of money, or sometimes even more money with us, even net of our management fees. And they're saving all that time versus when they were doing it themselves, and they're making the same amount of money, sometimes even less, and they're doing all the work themselves, and it's taking all that time out of their day. And again, a lot of these hosts, a lot of these property owners who are hosting their listings, they don't want to be putting that time in. They don't want to be putting it in when it needs to be put in, because they're messaging guests in the middle of the day. They have a full-time job. In the evenings, they're trying to spend time with their family. And so this is a really big burden on them. It's not like you or I, who wants to earn an income managing properties on Airbnb, where we have systems in order to do this stuff for us. They're just managing it themselves. And so it's a lot of just their own manual efforts going into it. So what you want to do when it comes to finding property owners who are a good fit for your management is you want to focus on your niche. You want to focus on your area, but don't limit your search results. Don't try to go and strategically reach out to the worst performing host or try to limit your search results that way. You really want to hone in on what properties are able to be a good fit for your management and which properties are actually going to be worth your while. So if you're in an area where the average 3-bedroom property is earning $3,000 a month or more, versus the average 2-bedroom is maybe earning only $2,000 a month, then you want to make sure that you're focusing on those 3-bedroom properties, the ones that are earning $3,000 a month or more, so that your monthly management fees are going to be $600 a month or more. It's going to make sense for you to actually manage that property. Whereas if you're in a busy city, a big city where even a 1-bedroom property is going to be bringing in at least $3,000 a month, then great. You can reach out to 1-bedrooms. You can even reach out to studios if you want, as long as they're going to be earning enough income when they're optimized to make it worth your while to be managing that property. My baseline is you want to be making at least $500 to $700 per property per month. Anything less than that, and I don't generally find it to be worth the amount of time and energy you're going to put in, because quite frankly, in just about any area around North America and the rest of the world, you can find properties in just about any area that are going to be earning over $3,000 a month and are going to be bringing in you a good chunk of management fees for you every month. Now, 2 properties, a 3-bedroom and a 1-bedroom, they're both going to take about the same amount of time to manage them. So my philosophy is always to just manage the properties that are going to earn more money for the most part. Obviously, once you get into really high-end properties, they're going to require some more of your time, but that's sort of my general rule of thumb. So Again, just remember, you want to reach out to people on short-term rental platforms. We've got a link down in the description down below to a free training that walks through the strategy of actually how to reach out to those people, how to find them, so you can actually get your message in front of them. We've also got more in-depth training on everything I've discussed in this video. Again, just check out the link in the description down below. But you also just want to remember not to limit your search results to hosts that you think need the help the most, because often that can be really counterintuitive. You can actually be wrong on that. And so in my experience, you're better off focusing on the properties that are going to perform within your target range in terms of revenue once they're optimized, but not try to really narrow down your list based on the current performance, the current status of the property. So I hope this has been really valuable for you. If you like this video, please take a quick second and just hit that like button down below the video. It helps me out tremendously with YouTube's algorithm. So just take a quick second and click that like button there. Also, if you're new to the channel here, if you're not already subscribed, then be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the channel. We post 2 new videos every single week. So just take a second now, look down below the video, and just click that button that says subscribe so you can stay up to date and see when we post new videos twice every single week. Also, like I mentioned a couple of times now, the link down in the description down below is going to help you to get yourself registered for one of the spots in our upcoming free trainings that are going to walk through all of this in more detail and show you step by step exactly what you need to do in order to earn a full-time income managing other people's properties on Airbnb. We're going to talk about why this business is thriving in 2020 and why it's set to take off very soon here, even to a greater extent than what we're seeing right now or have seen previously. So again, don't miss out on that opportunity. Check out the link in the description down below. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.